Hello everyone. In this video we'll see how to create a basic Ansible configuration file and inventory file to start your network automation journey with Ansible. Here we'll see what are the mandatory values needed for connecting to network devices. We'll see some examples using Cisco iOS devices. I already have 3 Cisco devices reachable from this particular device. For example, I can reach out to one iOS device 0.61. So we'll try to connect to these devices using Ansible. So first let us get into the documentation of Ansible configuration. By default, Ansible is going to look into all these locations for configuration files. First is environment variable in Linux. You can set environment variable as this and give the location of your configuration file, or you can keep ansible.cfg in the current working directory, or you can put it in home/.ansible.cfg or etc ansible.cfg. First we will verify the availability of file in my machine. I'll open terminal here in PyCharm. I'm into this directory. Later we'll keep ansible.cfg file in the same location. That means we will try to match this particular condition. So now here I'll give cat. You can see there is no file. And here also I don't have the file because I haven't installed Ansible in the base machine. In one of the previous video I showed how to create a virtual environment and install Ansible. So I'll add that video also in the description and notification. So that time I have installed the latest Ansible community version. You can log into this particular virtual environment and verify the Ansible version. So first I'll get into that environment. Source home/venv1 bin activate. And here if I give the Ansible core version is 2.14.2 and community version is 7.2.0. This is the latest available while recording this video. If I deactivate and here if I give Ansible, so it is not installed in the base machine. Let me get into the virtual environment, and without having a configuration file or inventory file, we'll try to create a playbook here. We'll call this 01 test inventory.yaml. I'll add the file. I'll give a name for the play. Config and inventory. Then I'll give local host, and in tasks first I'll just print a message. ansible.built-in.debug and we'll try running this. Now I don't have any configuration file or inventory file. I'll run it using ansible playbook 01 test inventory. So this is getting executed. So by default, Ansible is able to detect this value and get the current machine's details. Even if I give 127.0.0.1 and run it, so Ansible's inventory plugin is able to make the Ansible connection variable as local for these values. But if I change this to something else, like I'll give some custom value, same host. So this will skip the task because it is not able to match any of the inventory host. So now we need to create a configuration file and an inventory file. We will try to create a configuration file in the same location where we are running playbook. And to create a configuration file, a default configuration file, the command is ansible-config init, and all the default values we can comment by giving disable, and we'll call this ansible.cfg. So by default, Ansible is going to look for ansible.cfg in the same location. You can see that in this document. So let us try running this. You can see now this has created configuration file, and if you open this, all these values are disabled because we have given -- disable here. And if you look into the line number 137, I believe, yeah, here we can see inventory file location. So what we'll do, copy this, paste it here, and we'll create an inventory file here. We can give any file here. In this example, I'm going to use INI formatted file. You can even create an inventory using YAML file. So let me just add that host. We'll call this same host space ansible _connection. You need to give equal to, because it is INI, and local. So now let us try running. Now this is able to run it. And for example, here, if you don't have the config file, let me just rename this and I'll change this to localhost, and here I will start adding some magic variables. Magic variables are the variables which cannot be set by user. These are predefined variables which gives information about host or task. So instead of this message, we'll give ansible config file. So we'll try running this. So it is saying null because currently we don't have any config. Now if you want to get the device facts, you can give ansible facts. You can see one additional step here. The host is collecting all the fact information of the machine. Let me just try running again. So these are the information which it collected. Now here if I give gather facts false, so we are not getting any data. Now ansible config file is empty. We'll give another magic variable, inventory file. If you have inventory file, so this will print the inventory file details. We try running, so this will fail because inventory file is undefined, because currently we don't have any inventory. Now let me rename this. I will call this same host, and we'll try running. Sorry, here I missed a dot. We'll try running. So now here we are getting the data, and if I give true here, by default this is going to be true. We'll get even the facts of the local host. Now there are multiple ways to add this host called same host into inventory. Now we have added in same line. Instead of this, so whichever host is not having any groups associated will be part of all groups. So there is a default group called all in inventory. I'll give all, and inside that we can set the fact ansible connection local. I'll give equal to. If you try running, so now also we are getting in data. Now instead of this, even what we can do, we can create a separate group. We'll create a group called test group. Now I need to give test group vars. Even there are magic variables to get the group info and all. I won't be getting into those details. So this is just a basic video on how to handle configuration file and inventories. Now we'll see how to add four devices into inventory. We'll go to the documentation. So how network automation is different in Ansible. So here you can see the Ansible connection value is network CLI, and there are multiple connection values. So in our case, we'll be using network CLI because we are going to initiate SSH to the device. See some examples using 𝗏𝗏. I'll open this documentation, and if we scroll down, you can see iOS platform options, and here they have given one INI file example. Either you can put it into groups and add with the value, or you can even directly put it into the group variable. So in this video, I won't be covering even how to create group directories and all. So here I'll copy all these values, go to 𝗏𝗁, we can delete all this. We'll try to create, we'll paste these values. We'll try to create two groups. So I have 61 and 62 𝗏𝗏 device, and 63 is CSR. So first I'll create 𝗏𝗏 group. We'll call this R1 Ansible host. I need to give the IP 68.0.1. Then R2 62. And here I'll create another group, CSR group, and we can even create group of groups. So here I'll call another group routers and children, and under that I'll put these two groups. And here we'll add routers vars, and in INI file we need to give equal to. Later we'll see what are the mandatory values. So here we are giving network connection is CLI, and username is going to be admin. So here we are not using vault. Become password is needed when you have enable password in the device. In my case, I don't have enable password, but still we can set this. become method is going to be enable in case of Cisco, and enable password. Just give some password. Now we'll change this playbook to connect to routers. We'll call this particular group and let us try running this. Here we are getting an error saying that no module named 𝗓𝗏𝗂. Either we need ansible-𝗋𝗋 or 𝗓𝗏𝗂, and this is getting executed only in 2 devices. The reason for that is here in the host file I haven't updated CSR. I'll give 63 here, and I'm already into this virtual environment, so I can do pip install 𝗓𝗏𝗂. We'll try running this. So now it is saying ansible-𝗋𝗋 is not installed, but this is able to connect to the device and get the output. If you're getting SSH error, you need to disable or uncomment host key checking equal to false. In the config file, you can search for host key checking. You can put false and uncomment this. The reason why I'm not getting is earlier I have tried initiating SSH to these devices, and I even have the SSH key available in known host list. You can verify that in /.ssh known host. So here I have the host added. Because of that I'm not getting. You can see here now this is using 𝗓𝗏𝗂. If you want this to use 𝗋𝗋SSH, you can install pip install ansible and 𝗋𝗋SSH, and if you try running again, you won't get the 𝗋𝗋SSH error. And if you want to run this only on VIOS devices, you can give VIOS group, and now this will run only in those 2 devices. Now we'll see what are the mandatory options in the inventory file. Since I'm not using enable password, I can comment these values, and first we'll try commenting this ansible network OS. If I try running, so I'll get an error saying that unable to automatically determine the host network OS. Either you can set the OS here, or you can even set within the playbook as a var file. Sorry, not as a var file, as a variable. So here I'll uncomment this, and now we'll comment this line. So here also we are getting such connection type with password error. I'll uncomment this and run it again. Now this is able to connect to the device and get the facts. I hope Now you have a clear understanding on how to create Ansible configuration file, inventory file, create host groups, add the variables to start your network automation journey. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.